Hello? Yo. Yo.
Hi, Miro. I can't see you.
Hey! Yes, you can, because it's just internet. That's why.
Okay.
I'm sorry. But
You
hold
on
on.
dial-up? Are you on dial-up over there?
Yeah, it's one of these. Yeah, 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 yeah. How did you know? Oh, you used to have a dial up. You are old enough to have a dial up.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. I'm 42.
All right, so hold on. We're live just to let you know. I mean, you're not a cursor, anyways. You're actually. But let me.
I'm pretty humble. I don't know what that word is, but I'm that guy.
There you
I can not
are.
swear.
You are on my stream and everybody can see you. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. First of all, I'm so excited that I can do it myself because I'm just technology. I'm just an engineer since I was a kid. But everybody, please welcome to the stream one of my favorite guys who is also an unbelievable talent all around. His name is Andy the Butcher. I'm not gonna Wild Hog 69, I guess.
That's me. That's me. Great movie. Great movie. Huge Tim Allen fan over here.
You're a huge Tim Allen fan.
Tim Allen, yeah.
Why are you a huge Tim Allen fan? Let's talk about that for a second, if that's what we're gonna talk about.
I have no idea. That was just the first name I remembered out of who was in that movie. That's
And see, you just gotta roll with the punches.
yeah. You
So
just gotta
Andy,
go with it.
I must say I'm a huge fan of you because,
Oh, thank you.
I saw your stuff first in AEW, and I was really
Yeah.
impressed because your look, your work, and everything is so good, man. I'm a huge fan of you, and you look
Oh,
like a
thank you.
crazy SOB out there, right?
That's what
And
I'm trying to convey.
you're not gonna talk about your partner because clearly he's amazing, but I have to adjust your screen. You could try Discord or Zoom. What do you mean?
He's unreal.
He is unreal, and I really love his stuff. But we're not here to talk about him.
Yeah.
We're here to talk
Yeah.
about you because you're so amazing. But what people don't know is you're a professional musician,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
have been for how many years now?
23 years it's been going on.
23 years. And if you guys
Yeah.
don't know, his band is called Every Time I Die. And I got to listen to his latest album, and I must say, man, this is some crazy good music.
Thank you,
And
man.
I am not a huge fan of, as we talk about, and I'm not trying to insult you by any means, the
Oh, yeah.
hardcore stuff, but you guys have some really cool like melodies combined with everything else, and it just brings me into that kind of music, which is kudos to you.
Yeah. Thank you. That's what we're trying to do. Trying to, well, we want to play to everybody. So want to be as, I guess, like, as real to us and palatable for the rest of everybody else, if that makes sense.
That kind of makes sense to me. But so let's talk about how did you start music, and then we're gonna talk into the wrestling thing.
I don't know, man. I just always wanted to be a musician. Ever since I was a kid, I've always like been more inclined to like hearing. I've never taken a lesson in my life, and I can play drums, guitar, and bass. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just something that like kind of made sense to me early on. And I don't like I don't really do music the way other people do music either though, because I don't know how to read music. So like if you handed me like a piece of sheet music, I wouldn't be able to know how, what it was.
Mm.
But if you asked me to like write a song, I can probably write a song pretty quick, like and have it be like me. You know what I mean? In
Mm.
art, if that makes sense too. Like my voice comes through music, and like I can, it's easy for me to do.
So
If that
would you write music, lyrics, and everything?
lyrics, I'm not so smart on. I'm not a big lyric writer.
Well, so when you say write, I don't know what that means by writing. So
um,
that's what I'm trying to understand.
just the music, not the vocals or the lyrics and stuff like
Hmm.
that. Like I can sing, but I don't. My lyrics would be like really dumb.
What do you
Like I
mean?
don't think I'm
Like, give
like
me an
I'm
example
I'm
right now. You're writing a song about whatever you want to write a song about. I'm putting you on the
I would
spot.
never. I can't do that on the spot. I sing to my dogs. I sing to my dogs constantly. I have little songs that I sing. Like I was watching Adventure Time earlier, and I was like singing songs to them. We're using other lyrics, incorporating them in the Adventure Time
Do you mind
song.
sharing?
No, I don't want to do that.
Okay. Okay. So was it kind of a battle between hey, do I want to do music? Do I want to wrestle? Like, would they start in the same time? The interest in it?
Yeah, I would say yeah, right around the same time. Like I got early on. My parents are like they're not musicians, but they're just really into music. So like when I was a kid, music was on constantly,
Mm.
um, and everything from like Led Zeppelin to like at that time, uh, like early stages of like country and like I got everything, jazz. My grandfather was like a jazz piano player,
Mm.
so there's just always been like music around. Yeah, and I would say like right around the time I started playing music, I got really into wrestling. And this would have been like 92, 93. You know
Mm.
what I mean? I remember like watching um which would have been in the 80s, Jesus. I remember watching the Road Warriors versus
Mm.
it was like the Road Warriors versus I know we're talking about music. I'll make it back. I'll
No,
get
no,
back.
no, no. You talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah.
This is my
It was
channel, bro.
the Road Warriors versus the Road Warriors versus Midnight Express. It was the scaffold match. And like that was the first wrestling match I ever watched. My parents used to bowl on Sunday nights and that was on. And I remember watching it and being like, what is happening? Like I gotta know everything about this. And when I was a kid, I would have to know everything about every band. I could tell you what keyboard player was in what band, like or played on what records. Like I was like a statistician
and
on
and for
musicians.
that to be a kid at that time, there was no internet, there was no Google, there
Oh,
was none of that. So how did you do
I had to
that?
like go to the library. I went to the library
What?
a lot. Yeah,
Wow, wow. That reminds me. Sorry, I don't want to turn it about me, but you know the way I learned English and a lot of the stuff is back then we didn't have no internet and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I'll listen to like Tupac or wrestling, and I want to remember something or know what it was. I gotta open the dictionary and find that word and be like, oh, that's what it is.
I love that.
You know,
That's amazing.
yeah, because if there's a will, there's a way, right?
Exactly. Yes. And that's like that with music. That was the thing. I remember being a kid and I was like, I would try anything. If you showed me like a musical like instrument, I would try to know everything about it until my brain just couldn't make sense of it. So like anything that was like a saxophone or something like that, like a horn, just never made sense to me. But the minute I started playing drums or I played guitar, it was more of like a, I don't know, it just connected faster, like
Mm.
for me.
No, that makes sense. I feel like a lot of the things, even in wrestling, like what happens to me if I go hard and then something happens, if an injury or something, you step back and you kind of look at it from a different point of view. Then
Yeah,
once you get in there, it's like, oh well, that makes perfect sense. How come I didn't see that before? And now it
yeah,
kind of clicks. So once you step out of the box and see it from the outside, in your case was picking up a different equipment or different musical instrument, and
exactly.
it's the same thing, man. That's really cool. So when you
Yeah.
said everybody listened to music when you were a child, did you have a favorite style, or was it you just loved everything?
Um, it really depends. Like I have like a lot of memories of songs like my mom and dad would like listen to when I was a kid. Like I remember like I remember like the vibe in the room being like up when like Led Zeppelin Immigrant Song would be on. You know what I mean? Like so like in my head when I hear Immigrant Song, I like think of my like parents like
Mm.
partying with their friends.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
different occasions for different like songs. So like and like I said, it ranges everything from like jazz to, metal. Like there would be a time and a place for like everything.
Yeah, it's just that's the beautiful thing about music, man. It just brings you back and gives you all kinds of. And we talked about this before when it can put you in any mood, and you suggested a couple of bands,
Yeah,
um, and they really affected me, not in a good way either. What was it? You recommended me
Radiohead. Radiohead was the
Radiohead,
one.
Radiohead,
Yeah,
and it was just like song one. Oh, song two. Oh my gosh! Like I couldn't even pass song three. It was just so depressing the entire
yeah.
time.
It's rough, but like this is like I try to like explain bands like that. Like that's like that's like looking at the whole universe. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
and I'm gonna just give you like a visual. This is how I think of like music. Like a band like Radiohead is the entire universe. So you're getting every planet, every star, every exoplanet. You're getting everything that lives on those planets, any type of rock that's on those planets, minerals. You're getting the whole kit and caboodle because there's so much, and there's so many layers to like Radiohead. I gotta remember. I gotta figure out where this mic is.
You're
Sorry.
right there. You're
Um,
good.
and then you take a band like ACDC, and ACDC is like ours. That's a people's music. So
Mm.
like it doesn't there's not very many layers. It's just all right here.
Mm.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's not the universe. You're not looking at an expanse thing. You're looking at this focused thing that's ACDC's just for a good time. And that's
Mm.
literally it. That's the only thing ACDC can be for because you can't get depressed listening to ACDC.
Mm.
Do you know what
Mm.
I'm saying?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So like when you listen to a band like Radiohead or like Pink Floyd or something like that, you're looking at like the whole universe. You're looking at everything because they're so in depth and so there's so many layers to them.
Yeah, and speaking of Pink Floyd, I did not become a Pink Floyd fan until I was maybe 26 or 27 years old. And I've heard of them before, clearly, when I was a kid, but the only thing they did was scare me. I remember the wall, not the wall, but
Terrifying.
the another brick in the wall in the video, with
Yeah.
the mask and them going to the grinder. It was just the most terrifying thing. And I never wanted to hear about Pink Floyd ever again. But then later on, I did a ACL injury and I was rehabbing,
There you
and
go.
Comfortably Numb came out. Then I was like, "What is that?"
Yeah.
And it just from there, I was obsessed. I was
Yeah.
obsessed. Pink Floyd is just like, oh my god, like I can get a goosebumps because
But you get but you get every single feeling out of Pink Floyd, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And like that's how you kind of have to listen to Radiohead. You got to listen to Radiohead like it'll take you through an emotional journey because it's supposed to take you from you're supposed to be happy, sad, you're supposed to remember somebody, you're supposed to be angry, you're supposed
mm,
to be like everything. Sometimes though you have to be in the right mood and I understand.
right. Do
Pink
you,
Floyd is like since I've been a kid, that's like the one band that's kind of stuck with me like my entire life. So like you saying that, it makes complete sense.
yeah.
Like you getting that moment, you have to live a little bit. It's one of those bands you just have to like you have to live a little bit to like understand Pink Floyd.
No, it's true, and
Yeah.
I think I'm very blessed with just being, just like kind of open minded. I'm not just focused on one particular style of music. I love it all. If you play it and I love it, I love that. And this is just I feel like more people need to be open to different kind of music. And I was very stuck as a child, being only
Yeah.
one kind. But there was this, then me and my brother will sit and record MTV songs and MCM and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and just enjoy every single music, man. It's just the best. Music puts you, as you said, in any kind of mood you want.
Yeah. Dude, I was gonna ask you that. Like growing up, did you like have like Bulgarian bands that you like like what were you listening to? Like when you were a kid, like what
Man, a lot of American music. I was always everything was about America, but there was great Bulgarian bands, but growing up, it was kind of a, the communism kind of just fell. So
of course.
democracy is a new thing. So kind of now you have the freedom of speech, and now you see we had the first rap group. I think it was 1994.
Yeah.
Gumini Glovi, came out, and it was just like such a good like rap Bulgarian music. And Mishu Shamara, I'm a huge fan, and to
Yeah.
these days he's somewhere in Chicago or something. And
Yeah.
then little by little, just different styles starting to show up because before that, everything kind of it was not like it was bad music, it was good, but everything sounded the same. You just one of these, not like folklore, but of course you have the folklore, but then it's just like old country music, and it's just like the same thing. We talk about love and the sea, and like
Yeah.
how much we can love talk about the love and the
Yeah.
sea, man.
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
and then the new style came in, and now we had the rap music, but then the chalga music came in, and
Okay.
chalga, and this is a classic. I'm sitting down to get drunk music. It has,
Okay.
and it's not like, it's a good drinking music, but that's about it. It's just for party because it's all the same. They all
Yeah.
talk about love, they all talk about partying and broken hearts and stuff like that. But
And
it's
it's
great when you get to drink and you get to party. This is the music you want to listen to.
and this is like traditional, like it's only there.
Well, it's similar. They have that in Greece and Serbia, and it's kind of a Balkan thing, I would say.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
That's really cool.
but it's nothing educational. It's nothing
Yeah.
deep. It's just like a
It's
surface music.
AC/DC.
It's
It's
AC.
AC/DC.
Yes, yes, it's
Yeah.
absolutely AC/DC, but a
That's what I'm saying.
way worse version of AC/DC.
But you get what I'm saying. It's the same thing though. You know what I mean?
No,
Like it's
no, it's
only gonna
true.
be it's only for a good time.
It's true, but then we kind of start lacking these deep meaning music, and
Yeah.
I feel like people lacked. And then again, it was another revolt with new style of music start coming through. And
Yeah.
now I feel like we're in such a good level of music that I really enjoy a lot of these new bands that are coming through.
I love that. I love that.
I love that it's just developing. I love, and it's so hard, man. You know how music is so hard here,
It's still yeah.
and now you have to imagine Bulgaria, which it's a very poor country, and nobody buys music. Everything is just
Yeah. It's
downloaded from
download.
internet. Yes,
Yep.
and these guys, especially now with the pandemic, nobody can perform anywhere. Nobody can make
And go
any
all
money.
about it.
So it's very, very difficult for them to survive. And it's just they have all my respect for them because you have to love it. You know that. You have
Yeah.
to love it
I
because,
dude, I know I
yes.
know all about it. I got four dudes right now who can't do anything, and I have the fortune of becoming being a professional wrestler for AEW. So like, I deal with this all the time. For the last 22 years, my band's toured the world, and then everything's been stopped.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've never spent more time at home. So like, I never thought I was gonna be like a home guy. I always was like, I'm gonna be on the road forever
Mm-hmm.
until I die, and then yeah, whatever. And then you kind of like put things in perspective when you actually have home time. And now like I hate leaving home. Like I
Mm.
love being home. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So it switches and it's really weird and like I don't know, man. Like thinking about traveling right now, not because of the pandemic. It just feels weird. I have more now. You know what I mean? I have a
Mm-hmm.
house and I have dogs and I have a beautiful girlfriend and it's really weird. I never had that stuff the last. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so it's weird for me. I don't know if like that's how you were before your wife, but like it's it's kind of you guys kind of have a similar life too though,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So you guys both travel and stuff like that, but you have to miss each other. And like before you didn't have that, like touring and traveling was kind of nothing. It was just kind of like, okay, like
Yeah.
I'll go anywhere because fuck it, you know.
Right.
Oh,
I,
that was the
I
first
just put
one.
you over there. You never curse.
That was the first one.
It's
Oh
okay. We
man.
pressed the bleep.
Okay, yeah, bleep that, I'm sorry. um but yeah, it's just like, when you have stuff at home, home means more. And
Yeah.
it's weird to like think about that because I know that like my other guitar player in the band, Jordan, we talk about traveling all the time. He misses it, but then I get to go to like Jacksonville every week, but like
Mm-hmm.
I still get to like see people, and it's just so strange, man. It's
Yeah.
so strange.
Yeah. It's got to be very hard. But you guys recently did like a very cool event, right? You find an alternative way to perform.
Yeah. Well, I think that like right right now, I think that it's kind of showing every business that there is pivots that we can do. And like wrestling in general has always followed the same kind of pattern. You know what I mean? Like it just has the same pattern. And I think right now it's shaking things up, and I think a lot of
Mm.
cool things are going to come from this. And into the music world, I in America and in like the UK and maybe like mainland Europe, like Germany and Belgium and stuff like that, like bands tour all the time. And like all my friends have toured constantly for the last probably like 15 years. Every band that I'm like close with, at least 15 years, have toured constantly. We've never all had the opportunity to just take a break and get hungry again.
Mm.
And I think a lot of really rad music is going to come out of this.
Yeah.
I think so. And I think it's because you kind of get in this mind frame. You understand, like when you were wrestling constantly, like you were wrestling 5 days a week, um, it's kind of hard to come up with ideas, and it's hard to be inspired when you're kind of doing the same thing over and over again. And then, like you said before about the injury and with Pink
Right.
Floyd or whatever, you take the time to actually take the ego out of it, look at the thing you're doing, and then you get to rebuild. And
Mm-hmm.
what happens is you start getting inspired in different ways, and then your wrestling gets better, or your music gets better, your guitar playing gets better, your drumming
You
gets
have
better,
just
because you actually
subscribed,
have the
and
time
I
to
feel
like
right.
focus your craft.
Welcome to
Yeah.
the Handsome
You know what I'm saying?
Chatters.
I
Yeah.
know that's like I'm getting a little too deep here, Miro,
No,
on
no, no.
everything
That
we're
makes
talking.
no. It makes absolute sense because that's what we talked about. It's you have to step out. You
You have to
gotta,
pivot.
yeah. You gotta pivot. You gotta shift. Whatever. You gotta roll with the punches. You just step out and see it from a different point of view. And
Yeah.
that's how you change your perspective. That's how you judge yourself, not in a bad way, but in a good way.
No, in a great way. And that's the thing. Like that's you can like choose to sit around and mope about it, or you can like go, oh shit, I'm gonna take.
It's okay. It's okay. Those are light ones.
Okay, I'm gonna take this. I'm sorry. That's only two. That's not again. No more. No more.
You have just
Um,
subscribed,
but yeah,
and I
you
feel
just
right.
have like an opportunity
Welcome
to
to the
like you can sit
Handsome
around and mope about
Chatters.
it, or you can go, man, I gotta do something to get back.
Yeah.
And like that's what our band did. Is like we got to a point where we were like we haven't even seen each other, and you have to remember that like we lived in a van for 22 years together,
Wow.
touring 278 days a year, sometimes 300 days a year.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like then out of nowhere, you don't see these people for you know what I mean. I hadn't seen my band in a year, and then the funny thing is that we started like then texting each other more, and then you start rekindling that like thing that kind of got you in that place, like we were like-minded kids when we started the band, and then like now it's like you don't see them enough, so like I'm sending them little like texts that say like I miss them, but in like my own way where they understand that I know I'm saying I miss them, but like I'm not outright saying, hey man, I miss you, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Like I'll send a guitar riff to them, I'll write a little guitar riff and I'll send it out, and then like they'll be like, oh, you know what I mean, and then they send me like a guitar riff in similar form,
Mm.
like that. And
Oh,
that's
what
what
a
I'm
great
saying.
text messages.
It's great. I'll send you one. I'll
Instead,
send you a couple tunes.
instead of words, you just send tunes, man. That's so cool.
Yeah. The
That,
feeling that I'm gonna do right now. You know what I mean? Whatever it is.
so let's talk about the wrestling
The
situation.
stream.
How did you move into that?
I'm like I did train to become a professional wrestler when I was like 18 years old,
Mm-hmm.
which was a very long time ago.
Well,
And
who's counting?
it's a pretty long time ago. Um, yeah, and just in the middle of it, I blew my ACL, so I only got like 6 months of training, and that was kind of like it. It got me to pivot into music, and I took like the instruments more, and then are more serious, and then I found like the right guys to like start a band with,
Mm.
and I'm with still to this day I'm with two of them, like the same people that started the band
Wow,
in the
very
beginning. So
very loyal.
huge bond with those two, you know what I mean? And then the other dude's been with us for like 18 years. So
Wow,
yeah, yeah, pretty much a brother. You know, they're all my brothers.
of course.
Yeah. But yeah, and it like I tore my ACL, and then like I got to a point where I literally like realized that I kind of just gave up. And this was probably like 30 years old. I was probably 30, 32. I was just like, all right, cool. I'm a fat guitar player that grows a beard and plays guitar. All right, cool. That's me. I had totally abandoned. I think I had an injury somewhere around there. Like I may have like had the start of like an MCL tear or something like that. So like working out just kind of didn't do it anymore. Like I didn't feel like I needed to like work out. Like I said, I just wanted to be a fat guitar player, and that was it, right? So I gained a bunch of weight, and like years passed, and I never felt better. And then I had gotten into a fight in Oxford, England, and it was weird. Like it just after I didn't feel right. You know what I mean? Like it.
Why
Like
did
I
you
got.
lose?
I wouldn't say I lost, but I definitely got. I got hit with a bottle 3 times.
Oh
I got
man.
kicked in the mouth, It was weird. It was just like it wasn't a good thing, and it wasn't like by doing. I just was in a I was in a weird like a weird place. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Was
Is this a
basically
common thing around those, traveling, playing music around the world?
I mean, sometimes, but this was like totally just. It was like people outside. Like it was at 4 in the morning, um, and like when your sleep schedule is a little weird. 4 in the morning is weird. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so I was over there. I had a little bit of jet lag, and I was up at like 4 in the morning, and I just kept hearing people scream outside of our bus. I opened the bus. Someone threw a sandwich at me.
Oh
No
no.
joke. I didn't. They didn't get hit me, but I did
Tuna.
get
It's
a
got to
burger
be a
from
tuna
them.
sandwich if it was in England.
It was a burger, which sucks even more because
Oh.
they wasted a burger. Um, so yeah, then I went outside and these dudes started talking shit. A guy ran at me, and then I started just fighting, and it was just weird. You know what I mean? Like at the end of it, I didn't feel like I just didn't feel good about myself. You know what I mean? After, so when I got home, I just kind of got in like fighting spirit again and started like
Mm.
really, really working out, really making my body like feel right. And then just at that same time, a school in Buffalo, New York called Grapplers Anonymous had opened, and Jesse would go there. My partner Blade, he would go there, and he just invited me one night, and I was like, okay. So I went, and I just wanted to bump around for the guys. Like that was it. I didn't really have aspirations to like wrestle matches. I just wanted to help people get better. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean?
Yeah.
And then I ended up getting like better and better, and then yeah, Jess like he was in he was contracted at some place, and it didn't go well, and it happened at the same time when I started just like working. I started really picking up and working shows on the indies, and then we decided a team, and it was like it just kind of all worked out at the same time, and it was crazy because I had like I always envision first before I do, just to see if it all makes sense. Um, and I came up with this weird character, these two weird characters, based on like 90s movies, like specialty thug. So like this isn't like the main heel. This is like the guy you gotta beat to get to the heel.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So like when the local guys can't get it done, they got to call the weird dudes from Milwaukee, and then
Right.
they come and they have like weird characteristics that are never explained,
Mm.
like a monocle and a weird like mask,
Makes
and
sense.
yeah, and they're just hitmen for hire, and that literally is it. And it's so funny because like people ask me like, "What's your character?" And I'm just like, "Watch any '90s action movie, a character like me will show up." And like that is the whole thing. There's no like alter, and I just told it to Jesse because he's such a 90s movie buff and I'm a 90s movie buff.
Mm.
I was like, let's just be weird dudes that never get anything explained. We're gonna call ourselves the Butcher and the Blade. You're gonna always refer to me as Butch, and I'm gonna always refer to you as Blade, and like that's it.
That makes
And it
perfect
literally could
sense.
go anywhere. And it was just so funny because I think at the time he was just trying to get wrestling back because he felt so down that he was like, "Sure, I'll take the ride with you, man." So, yeah,
Wow.
here we are. It's been pretty cool.
How long has it been now with him?
Six. Well, with him, it's been 4 years,
Mm.
and then six overall. I've been like 6 years, like pretty much been wrestling, which is insane to say.
So and now you've been in AW for how long now?
It's been, literally it. I just got my 1 year anniversary,
What?
February 2nd.
Wow, that's huge,
Yeah.
man. How do
Yeah.
you feel? How do you feel? Because I'm not saying. Because
Go ahead.
what do you mean?
I'm old. It's fine. I'm an
No.
old musician, dude.
What are you talking about? I'm not saying that.
You're gonna say that.
No, I was not. What are you talking about? Andy, what? Butch.
You're my biggest supporter, so I know you're telling the truth.
Yes, and I was gonna say, how do you feel? Because now you perform. You're used to performing music in front of thousands of people, but
Yeah,
now you have to perform. Not currently, but before you had to. Now you have to perform wrestling in front of thousands of people.
dude, it's terrifying. Dude, I
It,
was so scared. I was so scared when Cody like gave us the call, like me and my girlfriend had a really serious talk about it because I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. Like, this is a huge life step, and like these people see something in me, and I can't say no. And then I had to go to my band and be like, guys, like this is gonna be weird because I now have two things that are gonna take me away from home, and I need to be home. You know what I mean? So we had a great conversation about it. My dudes were super super supportive. I actually missed my first wrestling. I missed my first ever Every Time I Die show because of AEW too.
Wow.
So, and I was the only member of Every Time I Die that had not missed a show in 23 years.
23 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
What,
like, yeah. But I got to wrestle with DDP. It was cool.
Do you have to wrestle DDP?
Yeah.
I wrestled DDP myself.
Yeah.
In the Rumble, he came in, and I'm not gonna tell that story because it's not gonna look good.
Well, we both got it. We both got to wrestle DDP, which is great.
Wow, we're connected. So are you nervous every time you play music in front of people?
Never. Like only in Buffalo. Only when I'm like in front of my friends and family.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, the extra pressure. You feel like they have.
There's been a few times. There has been like really really epic shows that like sometimes like festivals in Europe get kind of weird because there's so many people. So you get a little nervous, but like at that, usually by the time we get there, like all of us have the set list so down that like I can play the songs with my eyes closed.
Really?
So it's not like a matter of like relearning stuff or like learning stuff on the fly. You're such a machine at that point in time.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean?
Okay, so is it a gimmick when they put the guitar behind their necks and do the old...
Absolutely not.
That's a real thing?
Yeah, of course, dude.
You can do that with all your songs?
I don't know about that, but I can play behind. I mean, I can probably play a few riffs behind my back.
Wow. What is the weirdest position you can play guitar? What is the weirdest position that you have ever played the guitar?
I used to play, while I was playing, like I would strum on my guitar and play the neck of Jordan's guitar, and Jordan would like strum my guitar and play.
No! You guys did each other like that?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's Pacific Rim stuff. You know what I mean? That mental.
That's impressive.
I've been with that dude for 23 years.
Were you guys playing the same music?
Oh yeah, like we were playing a song on stage, and like I would just play the one part, and he would play the other, and I would play. He would, vice versa.
Right. Wow, that's impressive. So, but when you wrestle in front of people, you get very nervous.
Oh, so nervous, dude. It's a microscope, and like you're under such a microscope, and you really don't have anything to hide behind. So like with guitar, I have like crazy amounts of sound coming at you, and then I have distortion coming at you and like effects, and then I have my guitar in front of me, and like I can get my own little bubble and just stay right there where I'm in the pocket and like blah blah. In wrestling, oh my god, dude, like I'm starting to realize that like, and this is so deep, dude. I'm sorry, Miro, because I got
bro. No, I love this conversation. Are you kidding me?
Well, I was thinking about you earlier when you texted me, and I was like, it was crazy. Like I was out, I had to go food shopping, as one does, and I was like thinking about like languages and how you had to learn English, so like to come over here and do this thing, and then like you had to learn wrestling on top of that, and then whatever thing you do, you're learning languages, but you're doing it in different ways, right? So like you and I know how to speak wrestle, and it's a weird language, and like you've been speaking wrestle language way longer than I have been. So like there's gonna be things that I'm gonna like misinterpret that you're gonna say to me. This is all me and you wrestling each other.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so when we're doing that, we're speaking a language, and then the people who watch wrestling are the only people that understand that language, but in a whole different context. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, guitar is just a language that is very easy to me. You know what I mean? Wrestling, I'm still learning the language.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, and it's crazy because I think a lot of people at my age probably would be very critical to people giving them critiques, but like, dude, I'm just a sponge, man. I want to know everything. So if I like and that's the crazy part about wrestling on TV is like you understand that you did something stupid right away
Mm.
because you can see it right away. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
like as soon as you walk back, like boom, like my girlfriend in her job, she doesn't really have that because she works in a whole different thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like it's so strange when people are like, wait, so like Arn Anderson was standing there and told you like to take your jacket off? And I was like, yeah. And it's like, oh, that's a dude you like worshipped since you were a kid. Like, does that hurt? And I'm like, no, man, I'm going to take my jacket off. Like, that's it. Like, it's so crazy to me, like, to think of it like that. And I was like thinking about it the other day when I, like, if I said 5 actual wrestling terms to a normal human being, they would think I'm insane.
Mm.
But if you think of wrestling like that, it's just a language, and we convey that language physically. And you're a better speaker of it than I am.
Oh, stop that.
I'm saying, but in experience wise, absolutely. You
Well,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
I've
Like there's
spoken it for
things that you,
longer. I've wrestled for longer, and
yeah.
it's just you. But it, it just takes time. It just takes time
You
and reps.
you tell me the smartest things every single time after my matches. You watch every one of my matches, which is insane. And I
Why
think
is
it's
it
awesome.
insane? I like
I
you.
don't
I
know.
want to help you. And
But
as I said before, I don't want to be a pest. I want to be a guest. And
you're right.
I wouldn't go and chase people around to tell them stuff because
No.
I
But
don't
what I'm
want to.
saying is, we barely knew each other. Like I
Right.
didn't know you at all. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when we came in, and like I remember telling, like coming home and like gloating about my girlfriend, and now like to my girlfriend, I'm like, "Yo, that Miro dude is awesome." And like she'd just be like, "Oh, what? You know, what's his deal?" And I'm just like, he just wants to know about me. He doesn't want to know like he just wants to know about me. He doesn't really want to know about like my wrestling thing or my like band or anything like that. He just wants to know about me. Like it's really strange. And you don't expect that like meeting someone for the first time, but like right away like you came up to me and started talking to me and I was like, "Holy shit, this guy like is interested in knowing who I am." And it's a refreshing thing because in music, you don't everything is very passable, right? So
Mm.
like everything's just like because you're not going to see the guy like in 30 days. They're going to go home and you're going to go home and like the next tour is going to start.
Yeah.
So like you kind of accumulate like a bunch of really good friends that like you only see every once in a while and you kind of talk through text where like now I see you every week and every single week we have more to talk about, which is
Well,
just it's cool.
you're an interesting guy. That's what I'm saying. You're a very interesting
So are
man,
you.
and it's well, I am just I'm just
You
me.
are. You're very interesting.
But you're so good in so many things, as I was saying, it's just so admirable, and I didn't know, like, and forgive my ignorance, before I had no idea you played
No,
music. I was
no.
just knowing you as a wrestler. And then when somebody told me that, I right away I came to you and I had to, hey man, is it true?
Yeah. I
Because
know.
it's
I mean,
just,
that was, but you did it in such like a genuine way. It wasn't like, I don't know. It just was so genuine. And like that, I think that that's like the reason why you have the nickname King of the Boys is because you're
oh, don't
so
say
genuine.
that. Now people are gonna start.
Hey, it's true. You're
Oh.
going to bleep that, you son of a.
bleep, bleep
Um,
that, bleep that, everybody, bleep that.
but
I'm over here turning red.
you're a great guy. That's all it is. And I think everybody understands that you're a great guy. And it's just it's refreshing to like talk to someone who doesn't have preconceived notions or something like that. Where like there's a lot of ego in wrestling and there's a lot of ego in music, so you see a lot of that and you don't ever really see a lot of the real person. And then when you actually see it, you're like, holy shit, this person's awesome. That's 3. Um,
Ding.
yeah, but you get what I'm saying. Like you know, like the first time I met Frankie Kazarian,
Hmm.
like I had a preconceived notion about him. I was like, oh man, this guy always seems kind of arrogant. And then we talked about Metallica. First time I met him, we talked about Metallica for like an hour, and like CD had to come drag him away. Like, yo, we're gonna be late for our plane. We gotta go now.
Wow.
And like dragged him away, and I was just like, that's one of my people. Like that dude, that is one of my people. I will always keep in contact with Frankie because he is so genuine and so real. And you're the same way. Like it just it was it was just a very refreshing thing. That was it.
Well, thank you, Andy.
And plus, I don't understand, dude. I don't understand. Like, I only have friends who talk about like who have been in your position wrestling wise, and it's either negative or like the greatest experience ever.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? And like, so the backstage stuff at AEW, I had no idea what to expect. I thought it was going to be very like uptight. I have to wear like a collared shirt and a tie, which is insane for me to say that.
right.
I'm not that guy.
No,
You know what I mean? So
you don't give that
yeah,
vibe.
and I mean, I was really worried about that, and then you get there and like it's so cool, and it feels like we're playing on a team instead of like playing single sports. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it I really think that everybody has everybody's interest in mind, and I really like that.
Yeah, yeah, and it's about everybody just stepping up and being good. You know, it's about the support.
Absolutely,
It's not about bringing people down.
absolutely.
You know.